Greetings! I am Herbert Erpaderp, and once again it's time for the asking of the Herbert Erpaderp, with me, Herbert Erpaderp, surprisingly. So it's June. How the fuck is it June already? Anyway, June is Pride Month, so happy Pride Month to those who celebrate. I feel like I should also briefly say that I hope everybody in the US is staying safe. Looks like you've got a real shit show going on over there, and I hope you can sort things out for the better quickly. Also, Black Lives Matter. Somebody's going to say, "All lives matter," which technically is true, Black lives being a subset of all lives. If you're using all lives matter as some sort of counterpoint, you need to reevaluate the way you think, and maybe learn some empathy. None of this sort of thing happens in a vacuum, and none of it is simple, but at some point people need to learn from history and improve. Maybe that's a little bit optimistic. I'm sure for those comments I'll lose a few subscribers, but I don't really care. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Time for questions. First up, Trekan Beluvic says, "Are you interested in the new bolt-action Stalingrad box, or do you prefer packages of single vehicles and small squads of men?" I am interested in the Stalingrad box set, to a degree. I kind of like the MDF terrain and the craters and such. I do already have a bunch of stuff including the tanks and probably the same or similar infantry, so I don't really need them, which makes the box a bit redundant. I don't really need the extras. This is one of the main reasons I do prefer individual tanks and squads of men and things like that. I already have a lot of the stuff that you see in box sets. It does look like the MDF in the Stalingrad box set is different to what you can buy separately, but a lot of those standalone MDF sets look to be a bit more interesting, and I am kind of keen on those. They wouldn't really match my Plastcraft buildings I have already, but I don't think that's really a huge problem. Unfortunately, they are kind of pricey. Probably worth mentioning here though that I am a Warlord affiliate, and if you were considering buying the Stalingrad box set, or anything from Warlord, it would be appreciated if you were to use my link to do so. It's in the description below. Happy Boy said, "Why are you?" I don't know. Why are you? Martin Gotham said, "Will Herbert go to VidCon when it reopens?" Probably not. The closest one is Melbourne, which is pretty far. And I don't feel like it's something I would enjoy, partially because I don't really like large crowds, but also I feel like it's something more for young people, and the kind of creators who start their videos with, "Hey, what's up, it's your boy DingDong21 and I'm back with a new video. Don't forget to smash that like button and ding the bell." Is that what they say? The excessive hype and fake excitement kind of thing just isn't really my speed. I'm sure there's plenty of decent creators and stuff there as well, and there's probably some things I would enjoy, but I don't think it's really my thing. I might be more inclined to check it out if it were local though. Happy Boy said, "Will this question be on AAHE?" No, it's certainly what— oh, piss. Well, I guess it will be then. Ratto said, "What secret conspiracy would you like to start? And if you were a mad scientist, what scientific experiment would you run if money and ethics weren't an issue?" A conspiracy, you say? I've never thought about that. There are already so many nutty conspiracies out there that I've got no idea where to start. I think if I were a mad scientist, I might try and create people that can fly. Sure, it's crazy, but that's why it's mad scientist and not just a regular scientist. And flying would be cool. Monol said, "What would you rather fight, 100 ducks or 100 geese?" I think I'll choose the ducks. Geese can be rather vicious, and I think ducks are usually a bit smaller, so easier for me to beat up. Not that I really want to hurt ducks and geese, but if they were starting shit, boy howdy. Trekan Beluvic said, "What happened to your hairless mice?" Unfortunately, the last of them actually died recently, so they didn't quite live for 2 years, and I did try to reproduce them without success. Though to be fair, I wasn't trying too hard, because needlessly breeding too many mice is a bad idea, obviously. The gene is probably still somewhere in my remaining mice, but I'm not very good at the genetics, so it's not something I know a whole lot about or how to deliberately reproduce it. It was nice to have something unusual though, if only for a short while. Almost 2 years is pretty good for a mouse though. Kiralaw said, "Where did you score that Mark 1 kit for $12 Australian?" I'm pretty sure I got it from Hobbyrama on the north side of Brisbane. I think I went there to get some glue or primer or something and came out with a bunch of kits, as is tradition. Moose said, do you have any favourite domestic Australian model brands that you enjoy? If so, which are they? Do you think they sell good quality kits? I'm not familiar with any Australian kit makers. That's not to say that I wouldn't like to be though. Actually, I think I saw a Collins-class submarine or something like that from an Australian manufacturer at a model expo. I just can't remember their name, and I didn't buy the kit. I think they may have actually gone out of business. Maybe I should look that up. I would be keen to try some local kits. It seems like a good idea. You didn't say paint companies, but there is actually a paint company from Australia called SMS. I haven't tried them yet, mostly because they're lacquers, which isn't something I usually use. They do have some interesting looking stuff though, like colour shifting paints and some nice looking kind of candy colours, whatever you'd call them, and sparkly things. You know how I feel about sparkly things. I do prefer acrylics, but it is tempting to try out their paints just because. Maybe one day. Crocgator said, how nutritional is Tamiya Extra Thin? Not very, but that's not really the point, is it? Sometimes you just need to have a snack that isn't especially nutritionally valuable, and as long as you don't overdo it, you'll be fine. Just in case anybody is very, very dumb, don't actually consume Tamiya Extra Thin, okay? Boy gave a disclaimer saying it's a serious question and might be emotional, and said, where were you on September 11th, 2001? What was your reaction? How did you find out? For me, it was kind of late at night. I'd been drinking and was in bed nodding off, not quite asleep yet though. My housemate, who we'll call Dave, because that was his name, called out from the lounge room that a plane had crashed into the World Trade Center. I just assumed he was talking about a movie because he often called out about stuff that was happening in movies, so I was dismissive. I didn't really care about some dumb movie. He insisted though that it was serious, and I guess it was. It's kind of hard to relate to something that's happening so far away, but being a person with empathy, I was horrified at what it must have been like inside those buildings. We watched the news on TV, had some drinks, and talked for a few hours about how messed up and theorising on what it might mean going forwards. Not that 18-year-old Herbert really had a grasp on the intricacies of the world or anything like that, but he thought he did. I guess it's not really a very interesting tale, but I do remember. Martin Gotham said, worst model? It's kind of vague. Do you mean the worst model I own? The worst I've seen? This does get asked fairly frequently, and I generally don't answer because I don't find it that interesting, and I would really prefer to focus on the positives rather than negatives. I think people put too much stock into ranking things worst or best for no reason other than to rank things. I'm not really there for it, so I guess that's my answer. In the comment section for last fortnight's Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, Yantima said, how do you hetz in the good way? You're implying that there's a bad way to hetz, but there isn't. All hetzing is good hetzing. Even hetzing done by those people who will say, actually it's not called a hetzer. Even their hetzing is good. Trekan Beluvic said, now every Thursday is a good Thursday. Only 6 days of the week left. Well, there are modelling videos on Mondays. I don't suppose that's news to anybody that watches Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, but if it is news, go check them out. They're quite video-ish, you'll find. Rock Strongo said, when you do your streams, you should have Discord voice on so people can come and chat. That would be cool. That sounds like an awful idea. Firstly, because multiple people talking in my headphones at once isn't something I want or enjoy, and I do have a hard time focusing on what one person might be saying because it all just becomes noise. Secondly, and probably more importantly, an open Discord channel live on Twitch is just asking for trouble. I mean, in theory it seems like a nice community thing, and I'm pretty confident the regulars in my streams wouldn't be shitheads, but then there are some unfortunate people without hobbies, whose time is pretty much worthless, who would love to have a second or two of attention before being banned, so it's not something I'll be doing. Arby's and the Chief said, I think Blass, or I guess it's actually an I, is supposed to be Bias 7, or IS7. I probably really should have got that. Sometimes I'm a bit slow, eh? I probably would have got it if I spent more time in World of Tanks or maybe War Thunder communities. It sounds like something people who might take video games a little bit too seriously might say. Well, I'll know for next time. EP Art said, next time you build a kit with a pair of dreaded rubber band tracks, could you try assembling said tracks with paper staples? I'm curious to see how effective paper staples will be at holding the dreaded rubber band tracks together relative to superglue. I have heard of that being done fairly often, and I feel like staples might be visible and a bit ugly, but hey, it's probably worth trying, and you can probably hide them anyway. I don't actually have a stapler, but it might be worth getting one, and I don't suppose they cost too much. I kind of like the staples idea better than things like melting bits of track together to bond them, so I might as well give it a go at some point. And that's it for the questions. Now to check out some of the models that have been shared on the Discord server over the last couple of weeks. Monol was inspired to make a double-barreled T-72, which is not something you see every day. It's an interesting idea, and it looks like a fun exercise in kit bashing. I believe this is the Battlefront T-72 in 15mm scale, but I could obviously be wrong. I don't think Plastic Soldier Company makes one though. Either way, I'm really entertained by this idea, and I can't wait to see it all painted up. M4 Valentine shared this Hungarian KV-88, which is a very slightly modified KV-2. As the name might suggest, the gun has been replaced with a German 88. This is based, I believe, on the Warlord Plastic KV kit, and because that kit comes with 2 turrets, here's the KV-75, which has a 75mm gun on the KV-1 turret. I believe these were shared in an earlier Ask a Herbert Erpaderp before they were painted, and they have been painted really nicely. M4 Valentine always does really interesting conversions and very nice paint jobs, and I hope that he never stops. It's awesome. Trekan Beluvic shared these M113s, or M113s, or M113s. These are 15mm scale Battlefront miniatures for Trekan's Israeli recce platoon in Team Yankee. They're very nicely done, I have to say, and I quite like the soot stains near the exhausts. That's a very nice touch. Graf Pudding shared the 1st and 2nd Scouting Group for their British Modern Army. These models are in 15mm scale from Battlefront, and they sure do look good. I rather like those scimitars, or at least that's what I think they are. The wheelie boys are really cool too, very nicely painted. It's inspiring me to start on my own 15mm scimitars. Got a real hankering to paint some 15mm. General Spade shared this diorama. This looks really good, but it's still a work in progress here, and Spade says that it's his first attempt at making a diorama. Pretty amazing. And here's some more pictures that were shared between the time I wrote the first bit and now. In these shots, the models are painted and only need dull coats and to be glued into place. Very, very nice work, though I am a bit suspicious. I think you might have just sliced a chunk of Earth away with your slicing ray thing, like the Borg used in Star Trek. Then you must have used a debigulator. I mean, what else could it be? Seriously though, very nice work. I can't wait to see more dioramas from you. The Tourette's Gamer shared this Cromwell. I think Cromwells are awesome, and this one is very well done. I didn't notice it at first, but if you look inside the driver's hatch, there he is, lurking in the dark. Creepy but cool. I don't know who makes this Cromwell, but it looks to be in a larger scale and it's obviously been painted nicely. It's not too weathered or beaten up, but it looks like it's well used. Also, it wouldn't be a British tank if there wasn't any tea. Excellent work. And that's it for the models this fortnight, and the end of the episode. Ask a Herbert Erpaderp will be back in 2 weeks, so leave your questions in the appropriate place. Otherwise I won't see them, and if I can't see them, I can't answer them. Don't forget that my memorial videos are alternating Thursdays with Ask a Herbert Erpaderp, so do check those out. I'm pretty happy with them so far. And I got a drone yesterday, so I'm hoping to have some more interesting shots in those videos going forward. Anyway, thanks to those who shared their models, submitted questions, and watch my videos. If you've not done so already, why not subscribe, follow, ring the bell, become a patron or YouTube member, or just come say hi on Discord or Twitch. Links to all of my things are in the description below, and as always, I shall return soon. So until then, be excellent to each other, and thanks for watching. Farewell.